welcome to We're Not Wizards. We are the best, but not wizards. Enjoy the show!
Used to doing an intro because normally it's like, well, no, because normally what we do just start just wittering away, aren't we? We're just kind of wittering away.
This could be the intro. We're just wittering into the intro.
We're just wittering into
wittering's just what we do. So why would we start with anything other than wittering? We're not professional, so there's no point in having a professional intro.
No, I'm keeping my amateur status for the podcast Olympics.
100%.
It is that time of year, Mr. Pryor, where we reflect back on the previous 12, we're going to say 11 and a half months roughly, of cardboard goodness, and we put together a list where we list our top 10s that have turned our heads, that have delighted us, such as made us smile, made us think, made us ponder, and maybe kind of made us dive further into the hobby that we call tabletop gaming. And these are the games of 2025. As we go through the games, we're going to make you aware that some of the games that we talk about aren't necessarily from 2025. Some of them are just...
we're not down with the cool kids, are we? We're not that.
Maybe it's just a case that these are the games that we got to the table this year.
Yeah.
That kind of grabbed us gently by the ears and planted gentle kisses on our foreheads and said, "We like you. We want you to stay around and play with us for a little while longer."
I think I did better this year for actually getting this year's games on my list, but than I did last year. I think.
Last year was a disaster. Looking at your list, it was awful. I mean, I just can't.
It wasn't awful.
Can't believe you.
It was
a joking
curated list of excellence, and
it was a curated list of excellence. It was.
I can only remember about 3 things on it, but anyway.
It doesn't matter.
I know Oathsworn won.
I kind of feel bad that I put Flesh and Blood at the very, very top now. But then I was so much into Flesh and Blood, and then I went, it's a perennial, which means it could potentially win every year if I don't.
Yeah, you could justify. Yeah, see, that was another thing. And I suppose in a slight way I have with one of my entrances. I could have gone down the expansion / aspect of. I suppose, in fact. Well, one of them for many people would tick that box, but it's the first try I've had of something like it. And then one of them, yes, is definitely a revisiting, as it were, of one of my favourite games of all time. So I was just like, bollocks to it. I'm putting it on the list.
I just don't see an issue with that. This is all about things that have made us smile and brought us experiences and kind of made us joy, or maybe enraged us to the point that we want to kind of play it again. I mean, the one that's going the one that's like, it's an emotional reaction. I mean, that's what we're talking about at the end of the day. It's, and it can be an obsession in some ways for some things, And I can't see people playing Euros. I don't think people playing Euros necessarily get them there sometimes because they enjoy them. I think sometimes they kind of appreciate the challenge.
Self-flagellation.
Of min-maxing stuff. Yeah, I mean, some people kind of like that. They go, oh yeah, I really want to play a 6-hour kind of Euro kind of game. I mean, that's up to themselves.
Like the albino monk guy in Angels and Demons or whatever it was, or one of the Dan Brown books. He's always whipping himself, or the Opus Dei monk, played by Paul Bettany.
His little belt. Yeah,
that's what Euro players are like. They're like that.
And he had his
902. I love this. I love this to an obsession, but I hurt myself. I hurt myself doing it. Tighten that thing that cuts my leg.
I'm just going to cut my leg, or I'm going to put Dawson's Creek back on again.
Galactic cruise whilst whipping you back with a cat of nine tails. You know?
I just can't. I get the understanding. It's like, I get why people like Euros, but at the end of the day, why don't you just like go out and gather a whole load of points from somewhere? You could play point salad.
Yeah.
And you they
sit there at the table pondering over their small economic tweak of a decision whilst imagining Vital Lacerda or Uwe Rosenberg smacking them in the back of the head.
It's like that game, was it the game that was called The President or something like that, and it was a solo game. I think it was a solo game. And the size of the board, it was literally, once you put all the components out, it was about 2 meters wide by about 1 meter long, and people were like, "Oh, this is amazing," and I was just, I get it, because I'm the kind of idiot that'll stick 100 hours into a video game. So I mean, sticking 5
it's no
hours
different,
into
I suppose.
a board game, what are you talking about? I mean,
5 hours to set up a solo game.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about solo games for me is that, about Euro games for me is it's not necessarily, it's non necessity est, Mr. Pryor, the kind of playing the game. It's setting the thing up and putting all the little chits out and everything like that, and you're just like going, this could have been an email. Basically, you're just like, what am I doing here? This actually could have been an email.
There was a couple of times when over the Oathsworn campaign where I would get everything set up and ready and everything was all good, and there was quite a lot, obviously 2 Oathsworns, so it's quite a reasonable amount of setup. I got it down to a sort of fine art. And then I think it only happened twice, and I don't blame her for it, because it's one of those shit happens. We've all got kids kind of job, and I'm just finishing setting up, and my mate's gone like, "I'm really sorry, guys, I can't make it." Blah, 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 blah. And I've just sent him a picture of the entire setup. Just gone, "You're a wanker."
You're a wanker. You're awful, man. I think it's all in all, it's been quite a decent year as far as tabletop experiences for me. Managed to get to Aircon, which was an absolute joy. Managed to get to Tabletop Scotland, which was again an absolute joy. Managed to get a few games to the table that have just been absolutely fantastic. There's only been a couple of games which I've kind of went, this could have been better. But, overall it's been kind of wonderful for me. I don't know about yourself.
I echo that. Yes, yeah. I mean, I had an awesome time at Aircon as always. My favourite convention, which sadly you weren't at, the Aircon West in Telford. I just love it. I just think it's brilliant. And this year I managed to win the table flipping finally, and the crown rests heavy on the head of the rightful champion. Finally, all those faithful raffle tickets that kept bidding on me every year, and I finally paid them all back.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that you kind of worked hard enough to succeed, which is always good.
I kept coming back every year.
Shall we start off with our honourable mentions? Do you want to head off first with the 4, the 5, the 6, or even the 7?
I've probably got I think I've got 4 or 5 that I want to mention.
Mention them. Do that.
Some because they kind of surprised me that either they didn't turn up, they didn't quite get into the 10, or you won't even have heard of them, and they were real little surprises of gems. So I'll go to the first, which is a real random one, which I think we'll see eventually, but unless you're like Mark Cook and a weird Japanophile and you go over to Japan and hunt out these random games, but the game Mushroom Sort, which is I don't think it's not trick taking. I can't remember how you would describe it, but I did talk about it, I think, briefly on one of the previous podcasts I played at Aircon West, and you have a sequential amount of cards, or you get dealt a bunch of cards, and then you put one in the middle, and then you put the others face down in front of you in sequential order, and what you're trying to do is make essentially poker hands. They're actually slightly different to a poker hand, but like you could have a full house of 4. You could have like a straight of 4, but you could have a straight of 5 as well. So you could have like small straights, big straights, some as big as your head. And what you do is each turn you you've got like 4 mushrooms and a cauldron, and everybody's got their cards laid out in front of them sequentially. The one you put in the middle, you can never touch. Yeah. But then what you do is you put a mushroom on one of the other people's things, and you flip that over, and that's then going to be your card. So you're trying to hunt out the rest of the cards to basically make these sets. And it's just, it was one of those ones that it just took me a few rounds and a few games of it to get the hang of it. But I've thought about it so much since that day. You know, I've only had one session of playing it, and it almost made my top 10 of the year.
Wow.
You know, I mean, I played it.
I get that.
8, 9, 10 hands of it, but only one sort of session of it. But I thought about it again and again and again, and the amount of times I just thought I could just make my own copy until it finds its way out, out of Asia,
out of Japan. Yeah. That's fair enough.
I just thought it was great. It was really, really cool. So yeah, that's my first little honourable mention. Mushroom Sort.
Next, just keep going.
Keep going. Another one. I think I was a little gutted this didn't make the top 10. I think overall it probably didn't need to quite make the top 10, but I've had a lot of fun with it, and it's a really good little war battling game that me and Elliot have had great fun with, and that's Rivet Wars, which got reloaded by Steamforged. Kind of, I think they fine-tuned it and stuff, and it's this sort of weird alternate World War One where these people are little rivets, these weird chunky little cartoony armies that are very World War One themed.
I've got it, and I've got the original.
You've got the original version.
I've got
I don't think it changed drastically. They just tweaked it and just just ran a comb through it, and not that you wouldn't understand that, obviously.
No, I wouldn't understand.
But me and Elliot have just had so much fun with it. It's a really good, like some of my friends have said to me, like gamer friends have said, like, oh, do you think I should get Rivet Wars? And I've sort of said, you know what, knowing you and the sort of where you're at with games,
yeah,
I wouldn't say get it, because I think you'll find it maybe too simple, too quick,
Yeah.
It's really good fun, and I think anybody would have fun with it. But I think if you're a deep sort of diehard gamer, I think eventually you'd burn out on it quite quick, Whereas where Elliot's at, it just sits beautiful,
It's lovely. No, it's a lovely game.
Another one?
Lovely game. Yes.
So
here he goes. Are you changing? Are you making
no?
decisions?
No, I'm just thinking of which ones to bother mentioning. The other one I'll mention, I've only had a couple of games of it so far, but also again I've played it with my kids, and it was as good as I hoped, and it was as good as you said it was last year. And that is some space dwarf mining antics in the deep rock of the Galactic.
Yes.
And yeah, it's really good fun. It's really, really good, and I really enjoyed. Eden loved it. I loved the fact that at one point she said, "Can I shoot Elliot?"
This is it just captures the game. Do you not think it just captures the core premise of the game?
It absolutely nails it, and it's just so much fun. The presentation of it, they nailed. I was really, really, really. It's just as good as I hoped it would be. The production value is beautiful. Yeah. It works really well. It's just super simple. It's super simple. Yeah. It just does what it exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So I look forward to getting through more of the scenarios and it getting, really getting its teeth into us, The last two I mentioned, so the one that missed out on the top 10. I've only managed to have 2 or 3 games of it. Okay. But I know it's good. And I know it's I'm glad I got it, and I'm glad I own it. It's War of the Ring in a condensed slightly more helpful environment, and that's Lord of the Rings: Fate of the Fellowship, the pandemic-esque inspired Lord of the Rings. Just missed out on spot that. 11. Very, very good game. I think if the board was a third bigger, I would be very much appreciative of it. The board is annoyingly small, and it's one of those ones that you just think we can't all be the first person to mention this. This definitely got raised somewhere else, but for whatever reasons, and I'm sure very justifiable logistic and economical reasons, the board is too small.
Is it the Nazgul all gathering around the final square?
Well, I think they highlight the issue.
Yes.
I think the issue exists without the flying Nazguls. The some of the tracks to see where you're going and what what paths and stuff they're following. If the board is just a little bit bigger, a little bit more spread, some of those tracks and lines aren't as, it's like some of those things where you get the follow the astronaut to the moon and a squiggly little line thing, and you've got, some of those paths are a bit like that. You're just like, hang on a bit, is it goes around there, around the back of that one, and up,
especially since part of the entire game is like tracing the journey.
Yeah.
And you've got to trace the journey in order to advance certain armies, and you end up... my joke was that at the end of the game, even though they've got these Nazgul minis, if you play your cards right, you can end up with like all of them just in this tiny space.
Yeah, which you do almost all the time.
The time.
They converge on a space regularly.
Exactly. Why don't they have discs? The discs they could just stack. I'm just confused. I don't know if somebody went, but I really like my Nazgul models that I made. And it's like, that's great, mate. But discs, let's have discs.
They are really cool.
Or let's have discs with Nazgul you can put on the top,
There's lots of weird sort of design decisions, like the big Dice Tower Barrador thing, which is so ridiculously well engineered.
Yeah.
It is also fundamentally pointless. It's just, it's just, if the board could have been third bigger and we didn't have a dice tower, I'd be perfectly happy.
It's kind of it's needing a neoprene mat treatment as far as I'm concerned. It needs a neoprene mat, a bigger neoprene mat version that literally has like just that extra kind of turn it up by 120% or something.
Yeah, 100, absolutely. It would make things so much better. Then the Flip 7 didn't make the top 10, and I saw such a shame that it didn't, because I have had so much fun with it. The kids love it, the family love it, but as a general rule, it's Gamers Uno, great fun, but we've loved it. And then the last one I'll mention that didn't make the top 10, which I think is an exquisite and beautiful game, is Leaders.
Oh, okay.
14th. I mean, again, only had that short few sessions we had at... not with you. I had at Aircon West. But instantly, it's one of those ones after the first game, I'm like, oh, this is very good. This is very clever. Very good. And the price for the production value is beautiful. It's... Yeah. If it weren't for the fact that it was 2-player and it was... a chess-like 2-player game, which I have plenty of, I'd have picked it up in a heartbeat. But it's it's one of those games that if somebody wanted a game in the kind of Onitama kind of style of game, or Hive or whatever, that's now one of the games I would recommend without question. Yeah. And I don't even own it. So so there you go. There's my honourable mentions.
Honourable mentions from me. Interestingly enough, Flip 7 is on that list. Flip 7 actually almost Flip 7 almost made it into the top 10, but again, it's because it's just a nice little casual kind of filler game, but I think it kind of can have, I think it's good to a certain degree until you can overplay it. So you get to the point where it kind of ends up in that Uno kind of pile where you're just like sitting there and going, just like once you get to it, it's like if you get skill cards, there's kind of like skill cards, but apart from that, it's just it's a luck game. It's like next card to turn up in that, and so I can see the longevity kind of having a little bit of an issue. If you get it out there, if you're kind of like playing it for kind of like new people, or if you're just fancy like, oh, let's have a quick game of Flip 7, yeah, I think you jump into it. But interestingly enough, we've played it a couple of times. I play it an awful lot on BGA because it's a press of a button. You don't have to worry about it. You just like play a game and muck about with it. So, but it's fine. It's just not made the top 10. Middle Ages. That was the kind of stack your tableau kind of tower point scoring, kind of almost like a King Domino kind of effect game that we spoke about not too long ago. Played that, kind of liked that. Looking forward to potentially playing it again in future. It's another nice little kind of little hit from Hachette, I think. Beautiful little game. Then we get into the cards. Star Wars Unlimited, I think, missed out in the top 10 only because we started playing it again. Me and Jacob started playing it again because we changed the night we're going along to the shop to Accent Gaming. And we've just been kind of getting into it. It's been good fun, but it still suffers from kind of meta drag. I think it still suffers from, if you don't have the latest kind of cards, then you can't play. It's really difficult to play and kind of go up against people who have a new deck if you've got a favourite deck that you've been working on. But that's fine. That's how it is. Flesh and Blood. I've had to put that in there. I didn't think it was right to kind of put it anywhere in the top 10 this year, only because it's a perennial and it's like, would you want to play Flesh and Blood? And the answer is always going to be yes. So it's always going to be kind of in the top 5, top 10. So I thought I'm going to put it to one side so we can concentrate on something else. Played Altered quite a bit this year. Enjoyed it right up until they decided that they were going to quite literally shit the bed and go back to crowdfunding, which to me is a decision which is, I don't know why they made that decision. They said it was, the reasons they gave was something to do with the price of, they'd have to put the price of decks up to maintain it on a kind of a to maintain it on a distribution level. And I'm just like, well, overnight at the store where I play it at Accent, the number of people playing Altered is lemons off a cliff, mate. It's just literally plummeted to zero because people are just like, well, what's the point in me supporting this now if you're not going to be supporting it now? What's the point in me supporting it, if you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a shame. I think and the last one is Distilled, because I like it. It's fun. It's very, very viticulture. I need to play it an awful lot more to find out kind of like the little kind of how it plays, but it was a lovely little game. I'm very, very impressed with how it kind of plays. Again, it's a game that I've played quite a few times, several times on BGA now, because it seems it's another game. You know, we're joking about setups for Euros and stuff like that. It is a game that has a little bit of a setup stuff, but it's a big, huge spreadable spread. When it's out, like it's taken up like a lot of the table. You have that with 3 or 4 players playing, and everybody's got player boards and stuff like that, and it's very, very easy to use up the landscape of the table.
Like me last year with Andromeda's Edge and Unconscious Minds, which just take up so much damn space. It's ridiculous.
It's like, where'd you put your drinks? You actually need to bring out a smaller table for the drinks, kind of thing. It's that kind of situation. Or if we're playing it at the club, you got to bring out like a secondary, smaller half table so you can put kind of extra stuff that you'd normally have. It's just kind of like one of those weird situations, but it's a cracking game. I kind of did enjoy it when we played it. It very much reminds me a bit of viticulture, but it's its own differences, so it's kind of like got its kind of own kind of identity. And I'm kind of interested to see, there's also, they've got Luthier out, so I'm kind of interested to see
I have that,
how that kind of plays.
I have Luthier, but I haven't had a chance to get it to the table yet. No, it's a big heavy Euro, which it's not something I get to the table often. You know.
Yeah. And just off the top of my head, the only other game I think that deserves just a mention, just because it was so lovely to look at on the table, was React, The Art of War. which is a little kind of 2-player, kind of beautiful looking, kind of asymmetrical power kind of battler with little beautiful looking acrylic standees and lovely art and beautiful powers and big. It's just a big, beautiful presence. And it's one of those games that's like, I don't know how often I'll get it to the table, but I'm actually concerned that it's like a one-of-a-kind game, so if it disappears out my collection, I ain't got a hope in hell of getting that thing back again. I'm never going to see it again. I think it'd be difficult to get hold of. So it's kind of one-of-a-kind, so I want to keep... I'm going to keep a hold of that. And that is the honourable mentions. So, shall we jump into our top 10?
Number 10. You want me to go first?
I want you to go first.
So, my number 10 is a re-implementation of a classic system that has been around for a long time, but it has never had the smatterings of Star Wars on it. And this is Star Wars Battle of Hoth.
I know this one. Yes.
Which is Memoir 44 Star Wars. And if you love Memoir 44 and you love Star Wars, then sweet mother of mercy, it's bloody fabulous. Memoir 44, or Commands and Colours as the system is one of the cleanest, just most perfect bloody systems you can get. It's just so goddamn good. With, you have cards for ordering your troops on that are on a board that's separated into your left flank, your right flank, and the centre. And you're playing cards. You have a hand of cards, so throughout the scenario that you're playing, you will potentially be limited to not being able to do what you want to do because you don't have cards to deal with things in a certain area. And it's about prioritizing, and it's just so good. And they did such a good job of implementing Star Wars into it. The Hoth system, the Hoth aspect of Star Wars works kind of perfectly for that. It'll be interesting to see where they go with it. It's one of the things I was really impressed by, and it still kind of blows my mind. General Memoir 44 or even Battle Law was the same. The board was actually made up of 2 boards that were kind of the standard size game board, so then folded out, put together to making a quite sizable play area. Now Battle of Hoth doesn't do that. Battle for Hoth is just one board, same layout and everything like that. But for some reason it wasn't till we were actually tidying it away that I even realised it, and I was like, how did they manage to shrink it down so much yet not make it feel shrunk down? I was very impressed by that. It didn't feel like it had been shrunk. It's it just works really well. When you start a scenario, you could choose your different commander, so you could have either Darth Vader, if you're the Empire, you have Darth Vader or General Veers, or I forget the other guy. But then, so they then have their special command cards that go into your deck, which do different things and work different ways. Like then you've got Luke and Leia, and again I can't remember who the other one is on the light side. And again their command cards that the special abilities, your kind of power moves are different. So you might want to look at the scenario that you're playing. Like if you're an Empire one, in the scenario you're playing, you might not have a lot of vehicles. Well, then General Veers isn't going to be your dude to take because General Veers specialises in moving vehicles or doing something special with vehicles. And if you could take Darth Vader, you always take Darth Vader. Simple as that. There is no choice.
Of course you do. There's no choice. You're going to take Vader, aren't you?
So that's my number 10.
You gotta
Star
take
Wars
Vader.
Battle of Hoth.
Quick quick question, okay, regarding the battle. A lot of people are playing they're buying kind of 2 sets, so they end up kind of doubling the board. Do you think that's something that's an essential thing that you need to do?
I don't know. It's only for a few scenarios to do that. My understanding is you can essentially buy 2 sets so you can play some big scenarios because you use then more of the product. So you're not using just 2 boards, And I would have no doubt that would be friggin' awesome. Yes, because I've played I forget what it's called now. Overlord, which is technically 8-player version of Memoir 44, because you have you have 3 commanders, so 1 for each section of left flank, center, and right flank commander, and then you have the general who is commanding the 3 commanders. So they're giving stuff to their commanders to allow them to do what they need to do. So they make their choices in their environment, but you've got to try and help them as their general to do what they need to do. So that's an even more scaled up version. I'm not sure what the scaled up version of Battle of Hoth is like, but yeah, I think I could see myself buying 2 sets anyway, just
to have it.
Yeah, I haven't picked it up yet, and I really should, but I haven't yet. But I'm pretty sure I will.
My number 10 is here in the number 10 because of the experience that we had when we played it at Aircon, and it's a game I'm definitely going to pick up. But I'm going to say Ponzi Scheme is my number 10.
Oh, that was on my thing last year. Yeah.
Quite simply because that game that we played wrapped up everything that is the potential brilliance of an above the table game.
100%.
The gentle scheming, the slow build up, the kind of the tricking, the kind of the gentle, not gaslighting as such, but that kind of beautiful, wonderful, so succulent moment where somebody realizes that they're about to lose. That one moment in that entire game where it was just like, there's no way I'm going to be able to win. And it is literally, you are destined to lose this game, and the only way you're ever nobody's going to win this game. It's the person. It's not, you don't get points.
The person who loses
you
it
don't get
best.
money. It's like the person who loses first kind of goes out, and everybody else is just, that everybody is eventually going to lose, but it's who's going to lose first. And I love that kind of whole thing about where everything else is so much involved around kind of points building and glory, and this is basically who's the last person to shit the bed, and it's just wonderful. I love it.
It does remind me of Cub Scout camp, the last one to shit the bed, but then the bit I do love, you said the gentle scheming, but then you do get the moments of brutal scheming where somebody's done this and they've done that and this stuff has happened, and then you just hand them the wallet with your offer and they're just like, they can't afford not to take your shitty offer, and it's just like, because of what's happened and what's about to happen,
and they can't refuse it because they're going to pay
you get
back.
them, they just look at it and they're like, oh, you scumbag, I can't afford to double it. I can't afford to double it.
It's so good. It's so good. It's just the fact that it's one of these mechanics. It's like you can give offers to buy stuff, but if somebody refuses the offer, they've got to give you back the double thing. And that's the entire beauty.
I think one of the best examples of it was in the game you and me were playing, where Soul, I'd explained it, and I have this, I think, happens in every game I've ever taught. I always explain that, when a trade starts, something is happening. There's no backing out for anybody. There's no turning it down for anybody. Someone is buying and selling one way or another.
Yeah.
And that moment where I think Soul was just like, so you can't turn it down? It's like, well, yeah, you can turn it down, but that means you have to double it and buy it back off there instead.
That's so good.
One way or another, when a trade starts, something
so
is
good.
being traded, whether you like it. And that's that sort of moment of realization for people is a beautiful thing, you know.
Yeah, it's just lovely. It's lovely. So that's Ponzi Scheme. That's number 10.
Good shot.
Number
Good
9.
shot.
Number 9.
Number
What's your number
9. My number 9 is right. So this is a miniatures game that's been, I think, around for quite a while now because it's technically on its 3rd edition. I have the 2nd edition rule set with a whole load of minis for it and a whole load of cool small scale cardboard towers and skyscrapers. And this is the non-IP infringing robots that can disguise themselves in various ways.
I know what this is.
From the Australian producer Traitors Galaxy, and that is Bot War. So I had Bot War sort of bits of. I think like the base set of Bot War, and you know I had it sort of sat around for ages, and I kind of just never did anything with it. I kept never getting round to it. And then thought, oh, this could be a good fun one to play. And I'd watched some stuff and seen some stuff about it, reminded me that I had it. Decided I'd at least crack out and do some painting with them. And me and Elliot had so much fun with it, and I loved painting it. And it's just a really good system, works really well. And then coupled with the Acid House terrain I use for it, which sadly Acid House terrain have now gone bust. They no longer producing, which is a real shame because they do some really cool stuff. So yeah, it's a 10 mil scale in gaming terms. So like a robot is, you know, it stands the height of like a normal kind of space marine, but in reality it's sort of 2 stories high kind of thing.
And
the cool buildings you have associate that, like, but yeah, it does a great job of doing its own thing, but also ticking the boxes of the. You love Transformers, don't you? You're a child born in the 80s. You love Transformers.
I mean, there's no when you see people kind of like on the I think it's Traitors Galaxy that kind of make it. And you see the kind of the various posts of people who have painted their latest kind of armies. And, you know, there's no denying exactly who it is that they're painting and they're playing as. It's just like, there's no denying at all. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that's not Poptimus Rhyme. Kind of thing. So. Yeah,
so good. Yeah, really, really good. So, yeah, I had to get it in, and I've had so much fun with it as a painting project, and playing it. So, yes, that is a Bot War.
My number 9 is Finspan.
Oh, really?
From Stone Man.
Still not played it myself.
Yeah, because like Wormspan's fun. But Wormspan was quite literally kind of Wingspan, but doing the kind of the journey different. And Finspan, while people have argued that it's kind of like the entry level kind of game, it's kind of going from the vertical. So rather than you moving horizontally either into a cave or along kind of like a nesting site or whatever, you're going from the top of the ocean to the bottom of the ocean. So thematically, yeah, I would argue it's actually the best use of the actual theme, in that you're expecting certain fish to be right up the top of the ocean, and then when you're getting to the base of the ocean, the depths and the stuff like that, that's when you get all the ugly things with the lights and stuff like that. It kind of works. It kind of works. It kind of works from a thematic point of view. And yes, you've got kind of like the normal kind of little fish eggs, and you've got your cards. The big difference is that it's got the circular kind of discard pile, whereas normally in these types of games you're discarding to like a singular pile, whereas in Finspan you're discarding to like your own discard pile, but you've got the ability to take cards back from your discard pile because you use them sometimes to pay for stuff. and then you're able to take those cards back from your discard pile to be able to kind of play them again. But it's just, I hear people kind of arguing it's a little bit kind of simpler than Wingspan, and yes, you could argue this, it is a little bit simpler than Wingspan, but it is kind of like a nice kind of, it's almost kind of like gentle Wingspan. The art's good. It's kind of not, it's not breaking kind of any kind of rules. I had a really nice time with it. I mean, they sat there, we got to the end of the game, they went, would you play it again? It's like, yeah, definitely play it again, because it's kind of like that nice kind of gentleness. And it doesn't seem to like, for me, Wormspan was good, and I had fun with Wormspan, and in some cases I enjoyed it a little bit more than Wingspan because it kind of made a little bit more sense. But Finspan, for me, I kind of maybe liked it a little bit more, a little bit gentler.
I think I'd probably like Finspan out of all of them best. I actually got rid of Wormspan. Not because I didn't like it. I actually think it's better as a game. Like you said, it's a polished version of Wingspan. It's Wingspan 2.0, where they've gone like, oh, actually, if we do this or if we do that. But the only issue I have really, I think, with Wormspan over Wingspan is that when I play Wingspan, it's one of the few games where I find it very, very cathartic. I don't really care if I win. You know, I'm always trying to win, and I'm not a really very competitive person at the best of times. But Wingspan, I'm really not competitive. I just really like playing it. I just really enjoy the thing in front of me, and it's really simple. It just works. And I think I found with Wormspan, I was coming at it with the mindset of how I like feeling when I'm playing Wingspan, but actually having to think a bit more and do more without really wanting to. So like, you know, and then Wormspan then moves itself into up in a category of being like a proper sort of lower midweight Euro, and I'd rather play other things than that. You know, Wingspan's a lightweight Euro. Wormspan edges towards the mid, you know, with just that few slightly more complications and slightly more clever things that you could do throughout the game. That then it's not competing with Wingspan anymore. It's competing with the midweight Euros that I really love, and there it doesn't quite hold up, if you see what I mean. Whereas,
absolutely.
I think I'd probably really like Finspan, because I think Finspan sits a lot more next to Wingspan, and maybe even I'd find it even more chilled out, you know, and just enjoy what I'm doing.
It to me, it does a better it does a better thing of playing within its theme. As in, I think if you're like an ornithological expert, you'll look at Wingspan and go, well, this makes absolute sense. In Finspan, it's like, is this fish bigger than this fish? Yes. That fish can eat that fish or take the place of that fish. And you kind of recognise the fish. I think, you know, people kind of go, because it doesn't take... The thing with Wingspan for me is it's like, yeah, you kind of recognise the fish, but you kind of don't recognise where they could be. But you see, like, oh, here's a basking shark. And you know he's a big brute. You know where exactly he's going to be. You know where he kind of figures and things. I don't know what a yellow hammer's going to be like or whatever like that. I've no idea what the hell that is, but I know it's in Wingspan, and I've not got a point of reference, even if you tell me how big it is. But you say a minnow, a basking shark, like even like a trigger. I don't know if it's just... You know, the marine life stuff kind of like it kind of makes more sense with the theme, and I do like the top to the bottom, and it kind of plays here, and I like the kind of the discard, the ability to kind of get back your cards from your discard as well, which was quite cool. It's still multiplayer solitaire. I mean, it doesn't matter if you played with another 70 players. You're still gonna, you know, there's nothing that makes you interact. There's very, you know, if anything at all. But it is, you know, I had a good time. I'd certainly, you know, go back to it again probably over Wormspan, to be perfectly honest, because I share the same thing with you. If I want something that's in that level, I'll probably crunchy. And I did donate Wormspan to a friend of mine because he really liked it, and I went, oh, just there you go, have it. So just all round, just nice guy. Number 8.
Number 8. So this has only arrived at my doors very recently.
Yeah, okay.
But it comes from a system that has stood the test of time now. Once it was restored.
All right. Thought you were doing Beauty and the Beast there. Tale as old as time.
But this is the first time I've managed to play the co-op version of it because they brought in the fabulous heroes with half shells, and this is
I know what this
Restoration Games Unmatched Adventures Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, because that's how we say it in Britain, because ninjas were too violent. So yeah, I'm a massive fan of Restoration Games Unmatched. I have an awful lot of it. I love it. I think it's just exquisite. I wish, being a massive Star Wars fan, I'd played the original, the Star Wars Epic Duels, which this kind of birthed from. Because I think I would have loved it. It sounds amazing. I don't know how hard it is to even get now, on a second-hand version. But yeah, Unmatched I think is brilliant. The card artwork is exquisite. Just the way everything plays. Some of the things they've done over the years with the various the fact that you could have Sherlock Holmes versus Jurassic Park's T-Rex.
I just love it. I love it.
Or you could have
Sinbad versus Medusa, or it's like
Little Red Riding Hood versus
Alice
3
in Wonderland.
InGen Raptors.
It's just amazing. I like that. I've got Battle Volume 3, and it's like Blackbeard versus Pandora.
Yeah, I haven't got Volume 3 yet. I really want to get Volume 3.
Have you not? Oh well, we should.
No, I've got Volume 1 and 2. There's a couple of the Marvel ones I haven't got. I haven't got like King of Country and the one with the girls. I forget what it's called.
Right, well,
Miss Marvel and stuff. But yes, anyway, so they did a couple of years ago. They did Tales to Amaze, which was like Mothman and something else, I forget. And I was kind of, when it first came out, I thought, oh, it's quite cool. I quite like the idea, but I'm not a big co-op player. So I kind of just sort of went, nah, I don't think I need it. And then I've kind of always meant to pick it up since, because then I heard how just amazingly good it was. So I thought, okay, it could be fun anyway. And then when they came out with the crowdfunding campaign for Unmatched Adventures Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, I've always loved Turtles. And then the idea of being able to have all 4 of the Turtles available in normal Unmatched, it was just like, well, this is just perfect. And so yeah, we've been able to play it now, and it's brilliant. It's just bloody brilliant. It works so well. Trying to team up with your mates to beat the big boss, whilst also try and beat their decent minions. Trying to stop Shredder taking over New York, whilst also having Bebop and Rocksteady be a pain in the arse, and Wingnuts throwing people here, there, and everywhere, and moving people around is just constantly a thorn in your side. So you've got to take them out first, really, to kind of really get to Shredder. I haven't played against Krang yet. Trying to absorb our universe into Dimension X, which is his kind of ultimate goal. But yeah, so it's just exquisite. If you like Unmatched, and you had any reservations like I did, but if you also like Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, done and dusted. It's just exquisite. Wonderful. Fantastic.
My number 8. I'll let you do the noise this time. Oh, he's drinking.
Number 8.
That's better. As Kinfire Council. I'm going to
thought this
caveat
might
this.
come on.
I'm going to caveat this, okay? And I'm going to say Kinfire Council with the expansion, the Winds of Change. Kinfire Council is fabulous. It is wondrous. It looks amazing. It has fantastic artwork. It is quite literally Lords of Waterdeep, except it's the local council version. Basically, it's kind of like
Jackie Weaver.
It's like, oh, it's all right. We'll get the bins emptied for you. You just
You
go
have
off
no
on an adventure.
authority here, Jackie Weaver,
Yeah.
in the Kinfire Council. No authority.
Incredible Dream Studios seem to be fixated with, and I've mentioned this before, they just seem to be fixated with like making a quality product, as in, if we can if we can use slightly thicker card, let's do that. If we can use a slightly thicker box, let's do that. If we can have upgraded tiles, let's do that. If we can have dual layer boards, let's do that. If we can have our city with 3 tiers, but basically we've included the trays so you can actually have 3 tiers, so it looks like a step up. They're going to do that.
City.
And it's kind of like part of that kind of exceptional attention to detail, which kind of it's very, very good. I've written and put out a review recently for Kinfire Council, and as a game, it's kind of like a standard fare. You have a certain number of workers. You're trying to meet the needs of the city. You're trying to build a lighthouse in order to kind of fend off the evil, the evils that are trying to besiege the city, and all along you're trying to deal with a cult that is trying to use SERP, which is trying to slowly kind of take over. And as you play the game, you've got the ability to update the kind of workers that you have. You've got the ability to update the spaces that you go into. You've got the ability to draw decrees and vote on decrees and basically increase your powers and kind of basically upgrade everything. So as the game kind of goes, you've got the ability to kind of upgrade everything and make sure that you're fulfilling everything that's required. The base game falls down slightly because there's a cult mechanic, which at some point the cult, if you fail in certain tasks, the cult scores points. At some point, if you end up kind of like failing multiple times, the cult can end up getting more points than everybody else. And the issue is there's a sub mechanic where, as one of the members of Kinfire Council, you can actually side with the cult. And then if you side with the cult, then basically you're siding with them, and then basically if you get to the end of the game and the cult has the most number of points, the cult wins. But there's no kind of punishment for joining the cult. So you can end up with a game where you get that horrible kind of game where you spend an hour and a half playing a game, you get to the end and you go, well, there's no point in continuing for me because you're 50 points ahead now, you've joined the cult, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it unless I try to join the cult, and there's no way for me to do that so it can lead to that frustration. The good thing about the Winds of Change is the Winds of Change just makes this is fully cooperative. You cannot join the cult. You're just going up against the cult. The cult is going to try and beat you kind of left, right and centre. And then with that change in place, it does kind of solve that kind of slight issue that it's got. So, and it's a game, again, I've got the Kinfire Chronicles, I've got Kinfire Delve. I played Kinfire Delve again today, and absolutely, me and my son played it and we absolutely loved it. And Kinfire Council is it's just one of those games which I'm like, I kind of want to keep a hold of this because it's very, very easy to kind of teach, and when people are looking at it, they go, oh, this looks big and complicated, and that. It's not. It's kind of like Lords of Waterdeep, but with then some, and that's why it's kind of like my number 8. I kind of appreciate it for what it is, but caveat, look out for the expansion if you can, because I think, depending on how you play, if you don't run away with the cult, And then it's just a case of everybody is whoever's got the most points. But if somebody does kind of like align with a cult, then it's a case you can feel like, well, all my hard work's for nothing then, isn't it? So there you go. But yeah, number 8.
I've still played nothing in the Kinfire world.
You've not.
And it annoys the hell out of me because you wax lyrical about all aspects of it, basically.
It's just... I love how Kevin Wilson's just been like told, you know, like, here's this world that we've made, there's a big lighthouse, you're trying to fend off, like, I think it's called, is it Den Lux or something like that, and it's all about the light of, you know, the world and stuff, and you're just trying to defend it against the bad guys. You've just told him, look, you make what you want, son. If you want to make like a battler, you can do that. If you want to make like a card game, you can do that. If you want to make Lords of Waterdeep, you can do that. Just keep going and keep along with the thing. And it is just the quality. It's just the quality. The quality is there. It's just absolutely lovely. So Kinfire Council number 8.
So
number 7.
Number 7.
There you go.
So my number 7
Yes.
is definitely not a 2025 game. I don't think it's actually a 2024 game either, but it arrived with me when I got it via the kind of reprint campaign and expansion for an expansion which I think, by the sounds of it, kind of really put it where it was supposed to be, did some things that it kind of needed it to do, kind of made it also the sort of version 1.5 rather than just expanded it. And that is the beautifully thematic Tommy Gunn Prohibition bundle of beautifulness that is Scarface 1920.
Oh yeah, it's on my wish list, on such my wish list. I do want this game.
It's a great game. They did a great job of it. Now I've probably got quite a lot of caveats actually for Scarface. One, it has a very special place in my heart because I was also designing a game that this is borderline identical to in so many ways. It's ridiculous. I love you know, organised crime, American mafia. You know, I've always loved it. You know, find it fascinating. And like I said, I got this via the Bloody Business expansion campaign, and Bloody Business changed the game in a few ways. Kind of made the board bigger, and took in some new parts of it. And it changed the way some sections of the game worked. In like businesses, in the first version of the game, the businesses like the brothels and speakeasies and blah 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 were casinos and stuff where they just made money, whereas now the more of certain businesses or the less of certain businesses, their points, that the amount of money they make is now in relation to them. So like I forget which way around it works, but like if there's more of a certain business in a city, that makes them less profitable because people go to all of them rather than being stuff like that. So did a few tweaks there. It is brutal. It is a brutal game, and when we play it, we play with certain aspects of it removed, like the Bloody Business added in the G Unit, which was led by I name a guy I can't remember what his name was. Elliot Ness, was the Untouchables of the Major Crimes Unit. Then the G Unit was run by another guy. He was even more like Elliot Ness, but he was just shoot on sight, ask questions later. The G Unit aspect of the game, I think, is too brutal. The game is punishing enough, and then if you add in the G Unit, the game punches you in the face and then kicks you in the bollocks. So it's just too much. But the beauty of it is you kind of, it's not particularly designed to be modular, but it kind of just is. There's lots of those aspects of it. You could just take it or leave them. Also with even some of the event cards. like the news, the daily news, the weekly news kind of changes when you get through certain rounds. Is the time track for the game, and you can kind of tailor those as well, because some of those, again, brutal, but they're not always just brutal to you, as in the gamers. They can be brutal to one specific person who just so happens to tick the boxes for that thing, and it's just like, it's not really fun for anybody if they're like second and pushing the first place, and doing well, and then suddenly just get absolutely their legs pulled out from under them. They're just like, it's like, well, and then whoever's first just carries on, just didn't get touched by it for whatever reason. But there's lots of other ways where the game is brutal to you based on what you've done. So like the Elliot Ness, your like the heat that's on you kind of thing. That's based on what you've done, and you can do things to mitigate that and keep that down. So when that kicks you in the arse, well, that's your fault. Nobody else's. It's a beautiful production. The miniatures and everything are really lovely, and it's all really nicely done and everything like that. And the only aspect that I probably don't like about it is like a 4-player game, which I think is probably its sweet spot. Isn't a game night game. It's a should we play this on Friday night when we know if we're still wrapping it up at 1 o'clock in the morning, then we're wrapping it up at 1 o'clock in the morning kind of thing. It's not just like Wednesday school night kind of game night, because you just won't finish it finish it in a reasonable time. Even when you know the game. And and it's like, it's a big old setup again. This is another one where I kind of need to make damn sure I set it up beforehand. But it's very, very cool. It does the theme great justice. I love it. The Scarface 1920.
That's just lovely.
From Red Zen Games.
Red Zen. I can give you my address, Red Zen. My number seven has been steeped in a little bit of controversy over the year.
Not code names, is it?
It's just...
It's a bit late to have that on a game of the year.
No, I'm just going to say, like, I prefer my grass over my turf. It's my number 7 is Compile.
Compile?
Yeah. Compile
was on my list. It was 18. And in fact, look what is sat next to me.
It's a beautiful
set.
Oh, you've got the second set.
Yes,
because crowdfund
I had it on I had it on pre-order for ages, and I thought it wasn't ever going to happen. Because I thought something happened to it, hasn't it? Whoever.
Well, if we put the way back clock to kind of like March at Aircon this year, and basically Compile was one of those, just in case I would learn how it should be pronounced, and then I can switch it to the right pronunciation when I edit. But it was literally the show darling in March, and everybody was wanting a copy. And I remember people were buying kind of like they were buying the base game, they were buying the promos. Everybody was like going really, really daft for it. And then round about, I think maybe June or July time, news came out that basically it was the company that was publishing it were in a lot of trouble, and they weren't able to kind of continue kind of making it, I think. But it's just, for those that haven't played it, it's decks based around kind of like, you could say the elements, but it's also based around kind of like core emotions and feelings like, death and fear, and they've got
it's
fire,
like a
water,
Netrunner cyberpunk theme.
Yeah. Basically, you've got it's a lane battler. You've got 3 lanes. You're trying to basically score over 10 points in each of your lanes, but your decks are themed around kind of certain obvious things, I would guess. Like, for instance, like fire is all about kind of burning through your deck. Ice is about potentially kind of, freezing your opponents. It's like different, almost like the theme. If you've got a deck, you've got a pretty good idea of how that deck's kind of meant to play. I think you've got like a ghost deck that can switch between lanes and stuff. Like, you've got various. It's pretty obvious. It's a while since I played it, but it's one of those games that the cards are this kind of plasticky kind of finish. It's the
They're
artwork
lovely.
is
Beautiful.
lovely, tremendous kind of like.
And they've got
artwork on
the
it.
sort of foil in them as well, so they're reflective.
Oh
and,
yeah,
and
the kind of the core cards have got all the kind of the beautiful foil in it, but it actually stacks up.
greater
stacks up.
than games had compile, but now it's coming up from Synapse's games, so that's who's produced this second set, and I haven't literally had it next to my original version, but everything about it looks identical. So as far as I can tell,
That's good.
But
it's just a lovely kind of lane battler. It just plays kind of really, really well. At Aircon, it was kind of like the industry darling. Unfortunately, I think it lost an awful lot of momentum when there was the switch over from Greater Than Games, and that kind of disappeared. So I'm hoping that coming in 2026, it kind of gets the love and attention that it deserves, because certainly is a good fun game. It's another one of these games it doesn't take up an awful lot of space. The box is tiny. It's one of these games that's just going to end up sitting in the drawer, and you'll open it up and go, oh, shall we have a game of this? Because it only takes about, was it 10-15 minutes at the most?
Oh yeah,
to kind of play through. It's just so
100%.
And it was just it was like, I really, really liked it. I really liked what it was trying to do. It was kind of different in the space. As you said, I got the kind of the Netrunner kind of vibes. Simplistic Netrunner, but still that kind of cyber, that kind of almost cyberpunk kind of feeling to it. So so that's hoping for good things to continue for Compile into next year. So that's number 7. That's Compile for me. What's your number
6?
Yes.
So again, this is definitely not a 2025 game. I think it must be 2024, but it certainly didn't. I didn't get to play it till 2025, but I love it, and I was furious that I didn't back it in the first place because I just didn't.
You muppet.
Yes, it was one of those ones that, I just thought, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that good. And then I played it, and I was like, how did you manage to make the video game so perfect on the table and capture the chaos and carnage of bazooka-wielding earthworms?
Oh, okay.
So yes, Worms, the board game. I think it is just bloody exquisite. I love the way it does everything. So obviously, Worms is chaos and it's carnage in the video game, and that's something you have to capture, and you have to accept and be able to, that things aren't going to go your way all the time.
Yes.
So, and that's what happens in, obviously, the board game just as much as it happens in the video game.
Which is interesting, because the criticism I've heard, the people that don't like the game are quite clearly, I don't like the fact it's so random.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and I've read it and kind of went, why are you playing it then?
Yeah.
Because that's the entire point of the game.
100%. Then it was never for you. And I can only assume that you weren't a massive fan of the video game. But it does things that I just didn't expect. It does things that I fully expected, and it kind of like, you have a wind dial, so the wind is the board is made up of hexes, and you've got worms and barrels and mines and crates and stuff like that to get new goodies. And the wind dial, when you obviously fire something, will be affected by the wind potentially. As it would in the video game. But some of the things that I thought were really clever, because obviously when you start up a game in video game of Worms, you've got this completely random map with worms all over the place. You didn't put them there. They just, like, his Uncle Jim's over here, and then there's Squidgy McSquidge over there, and there's this team member next to that team member, and they're all dotted all over the place. So you get your sort of like your bearings and your lay of the land and stuff like that. And one of the things I think is the absolute best thing about Worms the board game is that they capture that bit so perfectly well. And it hadn't dawned on me that they would do that. When you start the game, you start off with you get handed a player aid, which is a colour of a team. Then in your turn, you go around the board. You just pick up a random one of these kind of sorted shapes of hexes, put it down, and somebody else takes a random piece. They connect it how they want, and you build the map. So the map ends up can end up all over the place. Just like legs of a spider coming out like that, or it could be real condensed, and all this sort of thing, and then holes here and gaps there, and all sorts of things. Then so you've got you got the player aid for the red team, so you get past the red team, and you get a crate and a mine and a barrel, and then you just take it in turns placing these things. But although you've been given the player aid for the red team, it's not your team yet. So you're placing the red team, but then once everybody's set everything up and they've all placed everything randomly and sort of they've dotted everything about, then the player aids go back and they get dealt out again. So you might be placing the red team. No idea. Yeah. But you might not be the red team. So you've got to be you spread it all out, and then every now and then you just go, oh, this will be funny. And somebody sticks something, hope I don't get the green team. And then Sodslow, you're going to get the bloody green team. Kind of thing. Yeah. And that whole side of it is just, I had never considered that side of the video game, that they captured it so bloody well in the board game. It just starts you off so perfectly, and then so like a lot of people, when I've waxed lyrical about how good it is, they've said to me like, because you can't get the collector's edition very easily, but you can get, Mantic always have the base set available, and I always say like, there's plenty in there, and it's really good fun, and you will, but I guarantee if you love the base set, you're going to be gutted you don't have the stuff in the collector's set. Yeah, because it's just more stuff, and it's more weapons, and it's loads more cool worm miniatures, which they look great as well. So like, I'm very happy I managed to get a collector's set, but it's just brilliant. It's just such a good laugh. There's little things that I love the fact that you also have like this timer. So after everybody's taken their turn, you flip over one of the things, and it might be like, place a crate in an empty space, or and all these things, and eventually it becomes the weapon of mass destruction, and it's whatever is the real time is the sudden death thing, and you've got all of the weapons that you thought, Super Sheep and Holy Hand Grenade and Super Nan and all these just brilliant brilliant things, and they all capture the aspect of the weapon in the game on the table so well. It's just brilliant. They just absolutely crushed it, and I think it's, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. The amount of times I see people, being sort of punching down on it, for what they seem as. I've seen and I'm just like, why aren't the people who understand this game talking about it more? I've tried to champion the game as much as I can, and I certainly have when I was playing it a lot. I championed it a lot. Because the only other thing I saw were people who I thought, this game was never for you, so just shut up and go away.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame when a game doesn't find its audience.
Yeah, I don't think it ever did quite as well as it should have.
No.
I think if I remember rightly, the crowdfunding campaign wasn't drastically successful. I don't think, I mean, it was like, many people would look at whatever they got and be like, God, that's a great number. But I'm pretty confident it wasn't a number that Mantic wanted to get, not with a license like Worms, and thought they probably thought they had a real gem on their hands, but I think it was the curse of we've got a great video game IP, therefore we're going to do really well out of this, which is not
See
the
it
case.
all the time. See it all the time.
So yeah, Worms, the board game by Mantic Games, which I think is just friggin' fantastic.
Well, my number 6 is moving from worms to bees.
Apiary.
And it's apiary. From Stonemaier. Look at me being a little Stonemaier shill. I don't care. Come and get me. It's not that it's another worker placement game. It's what it does with worker placement that I really have kind of enjoyed. I've played it now a number of times on BGA, and the main mechanic for me that makes it stick out and makes it different from a lot of worker placement games is this whole your worker has a power and you place your worker down on a space, and based on its power it's allowed a certain number of actions, but if somebody then comes along and takes that space, your worker gets bumped but it gets increased in power. And then once you reach the power of 4, if you get bumped again, then your bee goes into hibernation, and that goes towards starting the ending the game kind of thing. But it's just quite well done. You're building your little spaceship, you're upgrading your kind of your little tiles, you're kind of adding little modules to your farm, you're gathering kind of more resources, you're kind of exploring bits of space, you're building wax, you're kind of building honey, you've got these lovely little bees. It's like a bee, a 4-sided kind of, it's like a cube with a bee, kind of like somebody's pushed a bee through the middle of a dice, and you just rotate it round. And these are it's like one of those little miniatures that I think I should actually paint these, because they do look quite lovely. I probably should actually paint these, but it just plays quite well. It's kind of with Stonemaier being so much about its multiplayer solitaire. Connie Vogelman, who interestingly was involved, I think they were involved in Wormspan as well, but with Apiary, they've got a chance to kind of change the worker placement variation enough so you feel for the first time in a long time you're sitting down with a Stonemaier product and you're actually interacting with the people around you, because there is that bit of, you're going to be placing it there. You actively are deciding whether or not you want to place your bee in that worker space, because if you do, then that's going to bump them up, which means they're potentially going to finish the game. So you get this beautiful crescendo, and I've probably said this before when we originally talked about it, towards the end of the game where people they need to score points in order to get to the end of the game, but they also can't be placing bees down in certain areas, because they know if they do that, they're going to end up kind of triggering the final end game. And it looks nice, and everything's varied as well, so it's not like people start on different boards with different powers and different ways to start, and it's just it was something that was a kind of a pleasant surprise, and it also kind of excited me enough to wonder what kind of Connie Vogelman's going to do next, if I'm being honest, because Wormspan to me, I mean, I know I think I like Wormspan. You like Wormspan. Apiary. Yeah. I want to see what they do next. So yeah, I've spoken about it before, but that was my number 6, Apiary.
Lovely.
Now we're at the gold ring section.
Number 5.
What is your number 5? I'm intrigued.
So again, not a 2025 game. But
That's fine.
I'm not sure when it came out. I think I got to it maybe over a year late. But it was one of those small 2-player games that everybody was banging on about, and I just kind of thought, I don't know when I'll ever get to play that. And I don't know if it really can't be quite as good as people make out. But
I think I might know what this is.
And I was introduced at Aircon.
Yes. I know what this is.
And I was asked if I wanted to be a co-pilot who wasn't willing to talk to his pilot. But they would randomly go about their job without discussing it at all and just reacting based on whatever their other person did, and that is Sky Team, the 2-player game about landing planes at airports across the globe. And Paul introduced me to.
It was it was
Sky Team, and I quite instantly walked into the vendor hall of Aircon and bought it, and have played it many times with Elliot. And I played it at Aircon West as well. I introduced my mate Andrew to it, and it's just so goddamn good. It's so goddamn good. You know, you have a little player screen where you one of you plays the pilot, one of you plays the co-pilot, and you have in front of you the sort of center console of a Boeing 747 or whatever, and you're assigning dice that you roll behind your player shield, so your teammate can't see the dice. They've got jobs they need to do, you've got jobs you need to do, and then you've got jobs that you need to sort of coordinate together. So slowing the plane down, maintaining speed and stuff like that, and then maintaining your balance, like your level, then bringing in the air brakes and the flaps and moving air traffic out of your way and stuff like that, and communicating that to the air traffic control. These are all things you have to do, and then so all these sections of the board have different dice numbers to be allocated to them, and some of them have to be done in order and stuff like that. So when you place, like for the balance of keeping the plane, on the straight and narrow, you might place a 5, but then if your teammate can't place a 5, they place a 4, then you'll dip the wings to the left or whatever, and then you're going to have to bring it back at some point and make sure that you're all good and bring the plane down nice and steady into land. Again, like I say, why thematically the pilot and the co-pilot don't actually talk to each other, they merely react to each other, is very odd. I don't understand it, but it works.
But it's so
it
brilliant.
works, and it works so well. And then
so good.
Then one of the coolest things is like I said, you literally are landing planes in airports across the globe, and the cards that you use, which kind of lay out your flight path into the airport, mimic the actual logistics of landing at said airports. And then the hardest section is one where one of the hardest airports, you have to bank one way, then you have to bank another way, then you have to drop steeply and stuff like that. So the first few that you do, like London Heathrow and everything, it's just very steady. You just keep it.
Just got to land the thing. Yeah.
Keep it on the straight and narrow. And then and then you get some of the busy ones where you're getting more air traffic and stuff like that. So more air traffic can turn up and stuff like that. And it's just so goddamn good. It's so bloody good. And I played it with Elliot. He really likes it. And we do really well at it. So yeah, it's brilliant. That's Sky
and
Team
it's got a lot. Is it Scorpion Mask? Scorpion Mask. Yeah. But so much content to it as well. So you're not just buying one game and that's it. There's so much stuff in it, which is. I
bought the expansion with it just because it was such a small price for this kind of booster pack, which was more airports. But it's not more airports. It's got there's so much in that little, booster pack. Yeah. There's little modules that you're going to add in and stuff like that. And, it's so, yeah, I really look forward to eventually getting to that. But, yeah, just exquisite. absolutely exquisite.
Lovely.
You know.
Lovely. My number 5.
Number 5
is another above the table game.
Ooh.
Where
What is it?
where I've played this on a number of occasions and enjoyed it with certain people and frustrated me with others, because sometimes when you're about to rob a safe, you got to make sure you've got the right team with you. It's The Gang.
So I had this on my list last year.
Yeah, you did, and I got introduced to it this year, and I have played it on a number of occasions, and it is one of these games where it requires a certain. It's so funny how a level of game's enjoyment and success can change purely based on whether or not people know how poker works.
Yeah,
and
so
it's
true.
So funny to see people kind of going.
But it's not just their knowing how poker works, but it's their interpretation.
Yes.
Of how poker works.
Yes.
It's one of the biggest aspects of The Gang. I always
funny.
have to. It's one of my caveat of teaching it now is that I have to kind of explain that what you would think of as dross in a regular game of Hold'em, you wouldn't bank on it, actually is still very good.
Very, very valid. You know? It's extremely valid. And last time I played it was probably about a month ago, and we managed to get on the we managed to pull 3 aces on the I think it's the river.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
No. Yeah. You know. It is so fun. It's kind of like you win and lose together, and there's the whole. It's just the communication aspect of arguing with somebody by using poker chips. And just annoying and arguing with people and having, just I'm going to take that. No, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to have this one. I'm going to push this back. I'm going to have that. And then you realise, and it's like, you've got a pair. You've got a pair. And and you went for a 1. You've got a pair and you went for a 1. You've got a pair of kings and you went for a 1. What are you doing? And that's a true thing that you got a pair.
It's so often that you look at somebody flip something over and you're like, how are you indicating that you had so little, or you should have been snatching the 3 or the 4 out of my hand,
I'm just like good. It's apoplectic with rage, and also delightful.
My third most played game this year is The Gang.
Delightful, absolutely delightful. So that's my number 5. There's not much. We've spoken about it a couple of times. We spoke about it in previous episodes. It's just, my good friend Colin, he bought me a kind of a flashy deck to play with it as well. This beautiful finished deck. So it's kind of upgraded. I wonder what it'd be like. If we could get actual custom proper thick poker chips. There's a way to bling this out.
Well, they are pretty damn good poker chips.
They're pretty good poker chips.
Yeah, they're weighted poker chips. They're not just cheap. No.
Yeah. They are glorious. They could be gloriouser. So that's number 5, The Gang. Cosmos, I think it is.
4. Yes, it is Cosmos.
4.
Number 4. So this game I could have very easily put in my number 1 spot.
Oh, okay.
It is always my number 1 spot, and has been for many years now. But I was very kind, and I decided that I could justify not even having this on the list, because it is the 3rd iteration of a fabulous system, which isn't a fabulous system. It's the best system. It's mythical in its nature.
Oh,
and that is Mythic Battles Isfit is my 4th, which is the Egyptian aspect this time of Mythic Battles. And actually, I think 4th is probably a reasonable spot for it overall. Because I haven't had much of a chance to play with it. But in the grand scheme of things, Egyptian mythology isn't something I have any particular great knowledge of, or great leaning to. Pantheon, Mythic Battles Pantheon is my greatest game of all time. And Ragnarok's great as well, but again, I don't have any great love for Norse mythology. So, and also when Isfit was coming out, I was getting it. I mean, that was just that was happening. I was going to get it without question.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I wasn't like, I was not like I was super excited for it, because like some of the sculpts when I saw them, I was just like, I don't know, doesn't look quite as cool as I would like,
it's a bit of a shame.
And like I say, I had no great affinity with the actual, I didn't know no great knowledge of what I was looking at.
Yeah.
But then actually once it arrived, I actually like looked at the cards and some of the things that actually then had to play with them and stuff. It's the same beautiful production, and actually, a lot of the minis were way cooler than I kind of gave them credit during the campaign, and like when they were releasing updates and stuff like that. The styling is different. Like the Pantheon and Ragnarok styling is kind of, it kind of goes quite well side by side. Then the Isfit styling just changed that bit just because it's that little bit more different. But they did a beautiful job. Really, stunningly beautiful job. And I love it. I think it's great, and it just, it.
I would have thought, with the potential for painting stuff, I would have thought the Egyptian stuff would have been such a potential beautiful contrast with the other.
Now that I have it, there's several minis that I've looked at and I've gone like, I could just go and chuck some primer on that bugger now and just get it painted. But I've been like, no. Yeah. Behave yourself.
Do
You've got too much Pantheon to do first. No.
Do it.
But yeah, some of them are just absolutely stunning. And yes, like you said, they're definitely contrasting, and you could do some real different stuff, like just gold, just so much gold.
It's just so good. But it's like it's one of those systems where I think you could just continually add more and more factions. It is kind of like bigger unmatched.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
You could just add on more.
And in a weird sense, it's almost like within its own system, it's like unmatched.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you got Pantheon, if you got everything for Pantheon, then it itself is like unmatched, because it's like, oh, well, now I'm going to have so and so versus so and so, and they're going to have the so and so's with them, and the this and the that, and so it kind of, and then you get even more so that you could then go, yeah, I'm going to have Zeus versus fucking Thor and Sobek. It's like, so you can do that, and I've seen online people have said they've started mixing them up, and, it all kind of works,
Yeah, of course it does. Of course it does.
And I'm sure I will at some point, but I haven't yet. But I also, one of the cool things, we introduced some friends to Pantheon a couple of months ago, and they thought it was great as well, and everything was painted. It had like Poseidon, Zeus, Ares, Hephaestus, and like the Spartans and Ares. It was fucking great. It was so goddamn good. I've got a semi thinking about it.
I didn't want to say. I was saying was going to say, was little Prior awake with his one eye? Hello, what's your name? My number 4.
My number 4. Listen, go for it. Number 4
is leaders.
It's leaders.
It's leaders.
Yeah, I could. I thought leaders would be up there for you.
Leaders came in. It's just leaders has come in, and it's just it's pretty much like I played it at Tabletop Scotland, and instantly went and bought a copy. Pretty much instantly just went and got a copy. There was no two ways about it. Went in there, played the first game, and then I was playing it with Ian from the Giant Brain. And he says, "Oh, it's over there." I said, "So how much is it?" He says, "Take a guess how much this is." And I think it was like 26 quid, 27 quid.
Yeah.
And I just went and picked it up. It's kind of like it's like asymmetrical kind of chess, where each of the kind of, you've got a king, you're trying to protect them, you're trying to stop them from two enemy units kind of getting either side of them, or you try to prevent your king from not being able to move in like at all, from being kind of landlocked in, and each of the different kind of player pieces that come on, you'll kind of do moves and move everybody about, and then you'll recruit somebody else into your team up until you've got 5 pieces on the board. And it's it's almost got to the point where it's kind of like a little miniature game of chess, where you have to know what your other players, your opponents, are capable of. So you have to learn the kind of the move set to know how they're going to provide the synergy to kind of push themselves forward, to kind of get you into a panic mode, to kind of make you move, kind of thing. And it's just, there's just so much to like. The artwork is absolutely glorious. The components are really, really kind of good quality. It's just, it's very easy to learn. It's pretty quick to play. It's just got that kind of, it's the beginning of the evening, we're going to have what do we want to play for like 10-15 minutes, and it's kind of leaders kind of every time. So it was a pretty easy shoe-in. It was never going to be number one, because the only thing is, I've maybe got a slight question over the longevity.
Yeah.
I think there could be certain combinations of characters that you drop, then you're just like, well, there's no way
I'm done.
There's no way he's gonna. Yeah, there's no way they're gonna beat me, because I know exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. It's got to the point where the designer's actually putting up on a regular basis kind of chess-like puzzles, where they say, okay, you've got these 5 pieces. How do you win in 3 moves? How do you lose? How are you going to lose in 3? Win in 5 moves or whatever. And it's just, I'm interested to see what kind of happens next, if they maybe have an expansion that brings in new characters.
Maybe.
Or
I mean, it doesn't need to though.
No, it doesn't.
It could be exactly like Onitama, where it just brings in some more cards and some more bits.
Yeah.
But it absolutely doesn't need to either. It's
Doesn't
just
need
completely affordable, beautiful, contained, beautifully produced box of just perfection. Absolute
Just
perfection.
lovely.
There's no getting around it. It is perfect.
Yes. I mean, I would like to see what would happen. What I'm interested in, what happens to the second album, as in the next game the designer creates, to see what they do, if they stay something game? Small. I don't know.
I'll have a look.
But I do know it's the first game that is kind of like really seems to have set kind of like the place on fire. I think it was a surprise. It was a surprise kind of hit. I remember it was.
I think it was. Yes, it was a surprise hit for sure.
Tabletop Scotland. It was
Hugo Fenoy, and it is his only known design on BGG.
Yeah, met him at Tabletop Scotland. Met Bruno Feduti at Tabletop Scotland as well, and I think there was people continually going up to Hugo to say, I'm doing this. So it was pretty good. It's good to see a first-time designer really kind of nail it.
I mean, talk about stepping up to the plate and just smashing a home run on your first bat at plate,
Absolutely. So that is my number 4, Leaders, Studio H, I think it is. Cracking game. We're into the hot top 3.
Podium
so
places.
What is your podium? What is your
number
bronze
3.
position?
So when I started down this road of cardboard and plastic madness, it all started with a Greek mythology themed game. It was the first to ever come off the shelf and land. I mean, when I say that, I mean the actual proper board game hobby. Obviously I've been in the hobby in one way or another since I was 9. When I was really paying attention to the board game hobby and trying to get into it. And my mate and I had been, paying attention to the growth of the hobby and seeing all these amazing things. And one day we said, look, fuck it, should we go to one of the, Outer Sanctum was the shop that had a lot of them. Should we just go and pick one up? Fuck it, give it a crack. And we were like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. So the first game that I actually owned in my collection is actually only half mine, technically. So the first game we picked up off the shelf to bring home was a game called Cyclades. And this, very recently from Open Sesame Games, has the new version, the Cyclades Legendary Edition, I think it's called. Yes. Where they've taken aspects of the expansions, Titans and Heroes and Monuments and Hades, which I had issues with some of them. Titans I didn't actually think. I think I'm a purist, and I think, in many ways Cyclades, with aspects of some of the expansions like Hades, is spot on. And I always thought Titans was the expansion to appease the misunderstoods, the ones that didn't realise that it's just not like every other Dudes on a Map game. You can't just move all the bloody time. You've got to, if you want to move your troops, you've got to win Ares' favour. And if you want to win Ares' favour, you've got to time it right so you can do it when you do it. So it's not a game of constant global, or sort of, of constant warfare. It's a game of guerrilla warfare and choosing your moment and timing it right, and making sure you can do what you need to do when you need to do it. And if you can't, you've got to pivot and do what you can with what you've got. And that's one of the things I've always loved about Cyclades, that it's not just like every other one out there, because all the other Dudes on the Map game, they all share the basic 95% of the DNA, and then 5% of them, they do their clever little thing, and you think, oh, that's cool. Cyclades shares 50% of the DNA, and the other half of it is nothing like you've ever seen in that sort of game.
Okay.
And that's one of the things I love about Cyclades, the fact that you can't do what you want to do because you haven't won the auction of bidding on the favour of the gods to do that thing, and that's all still in it. But then what they did is they took Titans, which in the expansion previously allowed the Titans could just move armies with them, and you could do Titan movement with every god in the Titans expansion. And I think that kind of, like I say, it kind of just it brought Cyclades up to being 80% the same as every other Dudes on the Map.
Right, okay.
Still fucking awesome.
Yeah, but
it just took away some of the what I thought made it stand out from the crowd. Yeah. And they kind of they've brought that into Cyclades now in Legendary Edition, and they took Titans out, but they added in Heroes, and now you get heroic movement, and you can add heroic movement into it. And they've tweaked the amount of metropolises and how you win. It's still essentially the same premise, but they've tweaked how you win. They've tweaked some of the aspects of what you do to get the metropolises and what the gods get you, but fundamentally it's the sort of polished, complete version of the game, and it's exquisite. It's just absolutely exquisite. I've just decided to make my peace with the fact that
the change.
The changes that were made. I still think that it stands out from the crowd in every other sense. I think it's still one of the most underappreciated Dudes on a Map game there is. Even now, I still think it's probably one of the most underappreciated Dudes on a Map game. people need to pull their head out their arse and realise that it is perfect.
I will.
Cyclades Legendary Edition.
Wonderful. It's one of these games I've looked at and went, I should consider that. My number 3.
Your number 3
is from dudes on a map to anthropomorphic animals in a forest. It is.
Which one of these is it going to be?
Which one of these could it possibly be?
4 of them come out every other Tuesday.
There
and
is.
7 come out on a Thursday. So
See,
which
that's not
one?
necessarily true. It is Emberleaf.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Have you figured out how to make it sound good yet? Try again.
I haven't. I'll try again. It's in essence, it is a
one of the Dice Tower crew put it on their top 10 games of the year as well. I think it was Mike. And even he doesn't make it sound good.
It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound. It's all about what it's about, right? It's about you playing cards onto your little mat. And then at some point, you're going to move all those cards to the left, which means they activate. They're activating kind of extra powers. And your whole point is what you're trying to do is you're on the bigger map, you're trying to do a couple of things. You're trying to build little buildings that are going to kind of score you points. And you're also trying to wipe out the kind of the evilness that is present between the actual villages that you travel through. And it all kind of just works. It all kind of like laying you upgrade your little player mat by you build little buildings off your player mat and you end up sticking them on the bigger mat, and what that does is that upgrades certain parts of your map. You can bring in extra heroes, but only a couple of heroes per game. So you're very, very strict in kind of what you can kind of bring in and stuff like that. But it kind of looks fabulous when it's on the table, and it's bouncy and it's colourful, and it's just they've got these little kind of beautiful little wooden pieces representing all the animals and critters that you input on the forest, and then you've got kind of like gold cards that you've got to put in, and it's just and it's not that difficult to kind of teach. The most complicated thing is saying to people, right, when you do card dancing, you're going to slide all your cards to the left kind of one at a time, and you're going to kind of resolve them. And then depending on whether these cards do something when they drop off the kind of the mat or do something as they slide, that'll give you kind of extra moves. So it's almost like planning when you're playing cards and then executing the whole thing when you're moving them over. And it's just, I just really kind of liked it. And I still kind of can't explain why you should like it, which is the strangest thing. I still can't it's one of these games I have to kind of get you to play it to kind of fully appreciate it. And it's another one of these games that I'm kind of sad at the moment, because you've got the ability to kind of upgrade some of the tokens and upgrade some of the pieces, and you can't do that because it's difficult to buy those upgrades, because a lot of them are sold out because it was like on the original Kickstarter. And I hope Frank West manages to kind of manages to do some reprinting so we can get kind of like little tokens and little bit extra neoprene mats. It's a game that I'll probably hang on to and then kind of gently upgrade as I go, because it's just a good fun kind of game. I just really
or maybe
liked it.
I don't know if he plans to run a reprint campaign of it. Maybe
I hope so. If he does,
I have no idea. I haven't spoken to Frank for a while.
If he does, I would be in. We'd probably turn up at AirCon. And he'll stand around us and he'll refuse to play any games like he did last time. God bless him. But it's back to form. As I say, I think Isle of Cats and Race the Raft and stuff like that was kind of Frank tickling around the edges of doing something a bit more crunchier. And Emberleaf is him back going, I know this isn't quite City of Kings kind of level of crunchiness, but it's back to me kind of maybe doing something a bit more crunchier than what I was doing with kind of like Isle of Cats and stuff like that. So it's, I really liked it. Really, really enjoyed it. It's going to have it. Got it there. Going to play it again. Guaranteed. It's a lovely, lovely game. So that's Emberleaf, my number 3. And now we're into the silver.
Number 2.
Number 2.
So this definitely is a 2024 game. It might even be even earlier than that. I'm really not sure. It's probably actually been quite a while, but it's been quite hard to get hold of in any language outside of Portuguese. Because it was kind of exclusive to Brazil for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And then Spin Master Games managed to get it in the US. And I managed to finally acquire a copy of Comic Hunters.
Yay.
And to say I bloody love Comic Hunters would be an understatement of the highest value. It just does. So you play somebody building your comic collection, and you throughout the game you do 4 different mini games of going to the comic book store where you'll pick up all the newest stuff. Then you go to auction sites and stuff like that, and you'll pick up some of the kind of a little bit harder to get stuff. Then you go to the conventions where you'll find the really coolest shit, all the golden age stuff, and then you have, what's the other one? Where's the other thematic one that it's the auction, the convention, comic book store, which is the draft.
Cheese.
The other one?
Was it prawns I needed? Cheese, was it prawn, or was it bread? Did I need milk?
I can't remember. There's another one where you do. So all of the way you do these ones are various mini games. The auction one is, so the first one, the comic book was just a draft.
Interesting to see you lose your mind in kind of real time and have an absolute senior moment.
Yeah. You do the draft, classic round the table draft, done. Then you the auction is a nice one because you have a certain amount of currency that you can spend throughout the game. You're going to do 2 auctions. Any money you've got left over is points at the end of the game. So you want to be kind of not too liberal with it, a little bit cautious where you can. But that works really well. Then the convention is a really clever, fun one where... Oh, sorry, the other one, I can't remember exactly what the thing is thematically. The other one's a really cool one. We have as many rows as players, and you put out a card on each row. Then going around the table, it's a case of either take one of the rows or pick up a card and add it to a row and then pass to the next person. Keep going until you've taken a row and then you're out. So that's just a nice fun one because you're just like, oh, just push my luck. Then the convention's a really cool one where you've got a big grid of cards and you can move a card kind of north, south, west, east and west, in any direction that can fit to stay within the grid but follow a path if there is a path. And then you would say on any row or column, I'll take all of the Doctor Strange cards, or I'll take all of the Hulk cards, or whatever. So then you just throughout the game you're going through these various mini games, and then you assemble your collection, and you're putting together like a collection of Hulk or something like that. And based on the randomizer at the beginning, certain characters are worth more points and stuff like that. So in each one, you're never entirely sure at the start of the game what cards are going to be worth more than others. So that can change from game to game. But you're just essentially, it's just a very cool set collection game. But it works. It's just great, and it just the whole way through it, you just feel the theme of it. Everybody I play it with just loves it, and it's been a massive hit for my game group. And it's one of those ones where you kind of like, I wanted to get it as a collector because it's just got all these cool artwork and front covers, which is just like iconic front covers. So it looks great. But because it was kind of like an obscure, hard thing to get to, as a little bit of a collector in me was just like, oh, that'd be a cool thing to have. But then when you actually get it, and it's like, it's a bang tidy game, and it's just like, it's so good. You're just like, oh, bloody hell, this is actually it lives up to its look, too, and it's valuable in every sense, kind of thing.
Because it's proper IP, isn't it? It's proper IP.
Yeah,
so
proper
it's
Marvel
got,
IP.
proper Marvel IP, which like puts it above. I know you see like Sentinels of the Multiverse and stuff like that, and it's always, well, we know it's kind of Plastic Man, but it's not really. We have to kind of watch that we don't get sued. So when you actually see somebody going, oh, that's the Hulk. Oh, there's Doctor Strange there. There's Iron Man. You know what I mean? That must be so cool just as you're playing the game, because it just must add to it kind of so much.
It's just great. It's just so brilliant. So, my number 2 from Spin Master Games, who did the American version of it, is Comic Hunters.
My number
2.
Right, so my number 2 could possibly be my number 1. And this is where I'm struggling. Over the last kind of like 10-15 minutes, I have now changed position on these games. My number 1 and my number 2 several times. But I've decided it's not fair to kind of put this as number 1. Because, first of all, it's bloody old.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's actually,
what is this?
technically, it's almost as old as this, but I think it's actually almost as old as this podcast. It's Cursed Court. I mean...
Right, okay, fair enough.
It's Cursed Court. I mean, I have played this since I got it. I mean, the story was... I played this back years and years ago when we were at where was it? When we had the meetup. I can't remember.
Gearstones.
Gearstones, yeah. When we played it at Gearstones.
Is that where you first ever played it, was it?
I first ever played it at Gearstones 2019, I think, just before the pandemic. And enjoyed it. Played it again this year in Aircon. Whose copy was that? Was that
mine?
That's not. Is it yours?
Always mine. If there's a copy of Cursed Court around, it's always mine. There's not. There aren't many other copies around.
But we played it. I think it was Sam and Chris. We played Cursed Court, and
we played it with some of the Staying In podcast guys.
Staying In guys, yeah, and then I have been searching, as you know, as an ongoing kind of tale of me searching for this game.
You had one, didn't you? You had one in the palm of your hand.
I had one in
almost
like
internet-wise.
Amazon. It was like I had it on Amazon, and Amazon were basically like, yeah, we can send this to you. Amazon's got it. We're gonna send this to you. And then it's like, all right, well, we're gonna drop you an email when this is dispatched. So 4 weeks later. Right, nothing is happening. I am apoplectic with kind of sadness and rage, and then I put a post up because I was putting a post up in the board game kind of the chat, UK chat and trade group, just as a joke. Anybody hates their copy of Cursed Court, please, I'll give you. It's a good home. It'll come here. It'll get looked after. It'll get loved. And then I think it was maybe Matthew Smale, who piped up.
You got it off somebody from BG?
Yeah, he said, oh, look, they're selling it on eBay. There's a company selling it brand new, sealed, on eBay. So I went onto eBay, and the good old international seller Rare Waves, give a special shout out. I've seen them about. They sell on Amazon, but they're based in America and they send stuff to America. And it was like something ridiculous. It was something like $40 odd, and that was including shipping. And they says, oh, but don't worry, it's not going to get. You order it now. It's not going to get to you probably until the 12th of December. And I was just like, look, I'll get some money for my birthday. It'll be fine. So I ordered it, and then 6 days later, this thing turns up. Now, there's a ding in the bottom of the box because they basically stuck it in a jiffy bag. However, I have this game. I have played this game a number of times. I have played it with people who have no right. I would never ever call them above the table kind of gamers. They're quite, quite quiet, quite introverted and stuff like that, and we've played it, and I remember playing like the first couple of games, and the first game everybody's trying to do calculations on the first round, and they're trying to figure out what they're meant to be doing, and by the third round, like the first game, like they were about to turn over the card and somebody starts doing a drum roll, so they're like, and we turn the card over and we see what's kind of coming up, and it was just like, and the above the table game at the beginning, it was just like, well, I think I'm going to build, I don't know, I'm not sure I've got this and this, and by the time you're into the third round, people are going, well, fuck you, I'm going to put this here, and it's just, and it's quite simply all just about, it's poker. It's betting chips on various kind of card combinations and what's going to turn up within this grid
it's
of
poker
3
mixed
by
with
3.
roulette betting.
I mean, that's all it is. You're just trying to kind of you're trying to spread the odds to see if you're going to kind of win or not. But it's not just the game, it's what happens kind of above the table. And it's not an IP, but the art is fantastic, and it's got these plastic poker chips.
If it had been Game of Thrones IP, which it absolutely should have been, it could have done so much better, I think.
I think we would have ended up seeing like a Star Wars version, we'd have ended up seeing a Marvel version and stuff like that. But I'm kind of sad and glad. I'm kind of glad that it's kind of like the people that know about it and love it, and the people that, I'd like more people to kind of know about it and find out about it, because it's just so good. It's just
I never don't bring it to a convention.
It's just the fact that you can like take something and go, so what do we do? No, don't put that there. You've got the 4 cards here, and we lay them out, actually, so they represent the kind of the 3 by 3 grid, and so everybody knows where everything is, and then people start doing 2s, and then you get somebody that they go, well, I'm just going to lay down I'm laying
11.
down 14 chips, and they just bang it on the table, and they go, come at me, bro, and it's like, something. It's the fact that you sit there and some info on your left hand side, info on your right hand side, and the public information, and you're trying to build up a picture of what everybody else is doing and how everybody else is betting. And I've played it with like 3 players, I've played it with 4 players. On Friday I played it with 6 players, and it still worked. It still worked. There wasn't any kind of like people going, this is a bit, people were thinking, well, that means that all of the cards are going to get played, so you might as well spread all across the table. But there was this perfect example of like, basically, we played all of the cards, and out of the series of 9, I think there was only 4 characters that were played in the entire thing. It was just that amazing kind of bit where folk were just like going, man, there's no way I'm going to score. And it was just, I get excited. I'm going to take it. I know it's definitely going to be a game that I'm going to play. I would probably, if you want a quick game, you play it with 3 players, you'll get through it in like, half an hour, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. If you want a long game, you can do the 6 players, and you just have such a good time. And it's like, yes, I kind of get excited kind of talking about it, because I know that anybody that I've put down and played it, nobody's walked away from it and went, oh, well, actually, I would prefer doing something else, because you see them calculating, but by the end of the game, they're kind of not cursing and swearing and their bad luck, and they're just like, they can't believe that they've done this, and it's like, I can't believe you've done that, and now I've got my crown that can remove eyes back in my hand, and I'm tempted to kind of like strike
one of the most violent gaming pieces.
It's just amazing. Ever. It just looks like something like it's like, I think it looks like something that's out of Demolition Man, where you'd use like Simon would use it to remove somebody's eyes so they could do a retina scan. That is my number 2, Cursed Core. Atlas Games. Atlas Games know I really like their game, because I keep telling them I really like my game. And there you go. So that's my number 2.
So here we are.
The
top of the pile.
The cream of the crop.
Mountain. The cream of the crop. number one.
What is your number one for 2025, Mr. Pryor?
So this year I was very diligent, and I'm sure I've missed a couple here and there, but a handful. But I was very diligent because of being part of this illustrious podcast now and doing this, knowing we would do this episode. On BG Stats, I track the games I've played and so forth. So this year, I played 248 games.
Wow.
Of 85 different games, which is not bad.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And my number one game was 42 of those plays. All in person, no BGA or anything like that.
Wow,
I don't
that's amazing.
I don't track BGA or anything like that. Everything I track is in person. So best part of a fifth of the games I've played this year with this game, which I'm pretty sure was a 2024 game. Now I first picked this game up at Aircon, and I sat opposite a wide-eyed and would-be moron who also couldn't help me figure out how to play this game quite right.
Oh, I know what it is.
And eventually I took it home
that moron.
put it in front of normal, sane and intelligent people, and we bumbled our way through our first game. Then obviously my game group, we finished Oathsworn. So we were looking for something else that was going to be the ongoing. But we thought we would hit one of the big times. You know, we had Iridia was available and Maladin was available. And we were like, well, let's just take a breather for a bit. Play some regular games.
Yeah.
And so forth. But so we'll get to something eventually. And at some point we played this game and I was like, well, there are actually 66 different scenarios within this game.
It's got more scenarios than Oathsworn.
Yeah. So we could make our way through this if we really like it, which we all seem to. We seem to be very, very enamoured with it. And Bomb Busters is our game that we fell head over heels in love with. So yeah, I think we're 42 games played for me this year. Now, not all of those games are us doing our run through, but I think we're up to like scenario 20 something, 20 like 4, 5, 8, something like that. You know, I think we're about to open the third box, I think. So Bomb Busters, for those that don't know, you play a group of bomb disposal unit rabbits.
It is brilliant.
It is a deduction game that in its core, like I say, it's very similar to The Crew and stuff like that, in that there's the basic game, there's the kind of core game, and then you can keep playing all these various scenarios and levels and stuff that add in caveats and extra stuff and this and all that. But at the core of the game, you are cutting wires, and you're trying to cut the wires without cutting the red wire or yellow wires, as there often is as well. And to do that, everybody is divvied out an equal amount of these wires, as best you can at least. And the wires are numbered 1 to 12, and there are 4 of each wire, and then there could be a red one in there that's like 2.5 or anywhere in between. So then in your little like Scrabble tile holder kind of thing, you line up your wires so they're facing you, you can see them, they can't see yours. And then throughout the game you are saying to your opponent, your teammate, you're looking at your wires, you might have a 1 and it's sat on the far left of your thing. So I might look over across the table and say to Matt, Matt, is the far left of your thing, is that a 1? And he'd go, yes, it is. And I'd put my one down, and he'd put his one down. So then you can see, and things like, then you get certain points where you get to indicate to somebody what the actual wire that is hidden from them, what number that is, and sort of thing. So then that's how you end up breaking up the middle of the pack and stuff like that. So one of the first things you do in a round is you indicate a wire. So you might have, like I say, it goes from 1 to 12, but I've had it where like my third wire or fourth wire in my, like, say, kind of, usually you've got about somewhere between 12 and 13 tiles in front of you, but I've had it like my third or fourth wire is like a 7. And it's like, so you're just like, so you need to indicate to your colleagues that, look, you might logically think that this kind of section of my tile holder is probably somewhere between 3 and 5 and 6 maybe, but actually I'm size 7 here, so don't assume that I've got 3s and 4s or whatever underneath. So that's how you kind of get the ball rolling. Then you have like these equipment things that you can help, and as you unlock numbers, you clear numbers, you unlock these equipment to use that can do all sorts of various clever things. And yeah, we've been having so much fun working our way through it, and what they do with the whole kind of breakdown of these various missions. They've done stuff that just they've done obvious stuff where they've added in a timer and they've made it harder here, and you've got variations of red and yellow wires and stuff like that. But they've done some stuff like, I'll put up one little spoiler here. So like I said, is one of these, you have these indicators where you literally put it in front of your tile thing and you're pointing at it saying, this is a 10, right? We unlock another thing where you don't have the indicated numbers. You do have indicators, but they're times. So you have a 1, 2, or 3 times thing. So you're saying, this, I have 3 of them.
Oh, wow, okay.
And at first, when we first saw this, oh, that's cool, that works, it's going to be a little bit trickier. So much harder. So much harder to do, But yeah, we love it. We just loved every second of it. In fact, we were pretty, kind of bang on with playing it. But it's been I think probably 3 or 4 weeks since we've actually had a chance to play Bomb Busters, because we only play it with the 4 of us. And we just we happened to play some other things, or people haven't been available. So, but I'm sure in the new year or over Christmas we'll get back to smashing our way through it.
Fantastic.
It's not fallen by the wayside. It's just life has got in the way. So.
It's so funny that when
Bomb Busters is exquisite.
We first looked at it and just kind of tried it.
It was, it was just the wrong time of day at the end of a long convention, because it was probably a couple of hours before I was planning to leave on the Sunday, wasn't it?
Something like that.
I could not wrap my head around. I was watching videos and and it's now so easy. I could explain how to play that game with my eyes shut, and none of it in front of me. I could teach it perfectly. But yeah, I think I could teach it in French if I needed to.
Oh, formidable, as you would say, formidable. Yeah. But so that's Bomb Busters. My number one. Sometimes, unlike Curse Court that brings me unfathomable amounts of enjoyment, other games strike me or get to me in the kind of the fascination realm, in that how can we play this? It turns into kind of a puzzle, a conundrum, and sometimes you just end up playing a game because you want to play the game. You want to understand more how it works, how all the mechanics kind of come together, and whether or not there's a certain way that you can play a game and win a game, and just everything like that. And the story of this game was that I picked it up at AirCon this year. I think because I'd seen it a couple of places. And
No way.
The
this
art
is your
was
number one.
the artwork was absolutely fascinating. What are you talking about? And then I kept it and it was on hold, and I looked at it a couple of times and I couldn't make it out how to play it. And eventually at Tabletop Scotland, I sat down at a booth, and me and James, we sat down and we learned how to play it. And then since then, we have played this game numerous times, trying to just win with particular factions and stuff, and understanding how it learns. And it's such a puzzle.
One of the two factions.
One of the two factions, because this is Ironwood.
Jeez, this is your number one game of the year.
This is my number one game of the year, and it's because it fascinates. It's sitting over there. It's literally sitting over there because we were going to play it today, and we ended up playing. The new Japanese General Orders, and we ended up playing kind of Kinfire Delve today. But there's something about it, because I want to kind of dismiss it and push it to one side, and I want to kind of like never play it again, because I can't seem to understand how to, how you can win with certain factions kind of like consistently. And I'm still in the process of like figuring the game out, kind of almost, and that absolutely fascinating, because everything else game that I've played so far, in some way, shape or form, every other game that I've got in the top 10, I can say with confidence that I know how to play them in order to kind of get the result that I want to play with. I don't always win. I'm usually third, even in like a 2-player game. But this game just continues to kind of nag at me, to the point that nags at me, and it not only nags at me, it also nags at my middle boy as well. And we're just trying to figure out, it's just the quality of the game, the components, the kind of the cards, the art, the game, the rule, just everything about it kind of like, it just fascinates me. It kind of picks away at my brain, and I kind of end up sitting there looking at it and going, when can I play this again? And it's just, it's kind of got under my skin a bit. I need to know how to make it work, and how to kind of unravel it, and how to kind of build up a kind of... Because I spoke about this, which is basically, it's like, me and my boy were like, the Ironclad faction, it's just so overpowered. And when we went online, and basically there was like post after post after post on the Board Game Geek forum saying, the Woodfella boys, they're just completely overpowered. I can't understand how the Ironclad version's going to win. And I'm sitting there going, I don't know how. So, we have had a victory for the Wood boys. And now it's a case of how do you make that consistent, and how do you kind of fully learn how to... Because if it's so asymmetrical, it just... I don't know. And I could, as I say, I've kind of flipped and flopped about in the last 2, and it says I should make Curse Court was the easiest number one going, because of the game experience that I've had with it. But also at the same time, Ironwood is a completely different kind of game experience for me, so I'm kind of, I am kind of like odds, but at the end of the day, I kind of sneaked forward because I think I'm at a happy place with Curse Court and I know how it works. But I'm kind of at an interesting place with Ironwood, in that I'm kind of still figuring it out. And it's not that I want to stop playing it. I want to keep on playing it, if that makes sense.
Well, there you go.
You sound
I
absolutely...
never would have picked it as your top one.
Really?
No.
It was Emberleaf. It was Emberleaf for a while. But then I played it again, and it's kind of... Yeah, it was Emberleaf for a while, and Emberleaf was on loan. And then I missed Emberleaf so much, because I lent it to Ian at the Giant Brain, because he wanted to play it. And then I was like, I want to get Emberleaf back, because I don't like the idea of not having it available to play. And then Ironwood is just one of these games. If I say to James, you want to play Ironwood, he's like, yeah, let's do it. It's not a game. We don't have a a kind of there's not a discussion about it. You know, I could go to the club every Friday for the next kind of 6 months and I would say, I want to play Ironwood, and find somebody who wants to play it with me, just to see how they react, how they interact with the pieces, how they deal with, like, you know, gathering the kind of the ore resources, how they deal with moving the drill about the board, how they deal with, like, moving the totem out of the area and stuff like that. It's just, yeah. You know. So there you go. I mean, as I say, it's surprised me, because normally that type of game I go, can't be arsed with this. I can't be arsed finding out the kind of the meta and the intricacies. I'm just going to pass on to somebody else. I've done that so many times with review copies and stuff. You know, you got a game and you go, yeah, it's kind of okay, but I'm not really fussed about kind of unpeeling it down to its base layer to find out kind of what makes it tick. So... there you go. That's why. I hope I've justified it, but it's just, you know, scream in the comments.
20 awesome games for people
20 awesome games.
Check out. Even the honourable mentions.
I think even the honourable... I think we've done very well this year in terms of the games that we have.
If I'd made the list on Tuesday, some of those honourable mentions probably would have made the list. You know, they were so easily, you know, kind of... To be honest, General Orders, the new one, that was hovering about I was a bit surprised not to be on the list, because I know how much you love the first one.
Yeah, but we literally managed to get it kind of played today, and I'm kind of okay. I really like, you know, I'm kind of instantly claiming, like, I like this, but I need to play this, and I also need to play the kind of they've got like a different version of the game, as they always do. And General Orders, the original General Orders, is still very, very good. We've looked at 2025. We need to look at 2026. So, do you have the list of games that you would like to get played, get to the table? You're excited?
Yeah,
about?
I mean, so I think probably next year we will start a big one again. Like I say, I've got options. So Iridia, Paths We Dare Tread. I've heard nothing but good things. It's been consistently, I've got it available, and you know, I could crack into that anytime. Then I have Maladam from Battle Systems, which is another one that, you know, I think looks fantastic, and extremely tempting. But then I have one arriving called Dante's Inferno, which I think is a little bit more like, from CGS, Creative Game Studio, which I think is a bit more in the realm of Oathsworn, in being a boss battler, but with a ongoing story behind it. So I think it'd almost be like a very, very similar. Now, is that a good thing? Is that what we kind of like would like? You know, we shall see. We shall see when it arrives. So, who knows? And maybe we won't start. You know, we're still smashing through Bombbusters and enjoying that and loving that. So maybe we're not quite ready yet to do another one. But I think next year it's going to be a bit more of a miniatures focused, tabletop miniatures. You know, like proper miniatures. I don't mean miniatures board games. Focused year for me. As you've seen, I've been doing a lot of stuff and getting a lot of stuff ready to try and play a game called Guards of Traitors Toll, which I've talked about. And I'm really, 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 really desperate to get all the stuff I want for that 3D printed and built and painted. I've you know, I'm sort of halfway through painting the buildings, and I'm trying to now build this sort of tile base, you know, for the city to sit on. So like modular tiles that are all about, you know, they're 125mm square. They're magnetic, so they'll all just fit together beautifully. Cobbled streets and canals and stuff like that. So they'll pack away easily. And I've painted a bunch of the kind of old school fantasy buildings, and I've got a few more of them to finish. So yeah, I really want to get that up and running, because I can see myself playing that with Elliot as well. Then I've also been working on a bunch of terrain for Star Wars Legion, because I'd really, really want to get that played as well, because I've got lots of Star Wars Legion stuff, and it kind of just sort of fell by the wayside. So I'd really like to do something with it, and get more of it played, because it's a great game. But also then I kind of have to look at whether me and my mate who do have stuff for Star Wars Legion, if we're gonna sort of get into the second edition side of it, get all the stuff that goes with that. So we shall see. Another game that I've got loads of stuff for. I mean, loads of stuff for. I've still never bloody played it. This is a miniature tabletop game, but board game. But Archon Studios Masters of the Universe.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Battlegrounds. I've got so much stuff for it, and I've just sort of been slowly putting together some bits every now and then. So I really want to get that played as well. And then the last one that I could really think of is I have the stuff for Company of Heroes.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
I'm hearing more and more good things. The more good things I hear, the more I'm thinking like, oh, I need to maybe push to get this played, And it's a game that I think I could play even 4-player on a good night, because you could do it like 2v2 or something like that.
I'm surprised you've not jumped into Bolt Action, to be perfectly
I have
honest.
played Bolt Action. Yeah, I play Bolt Action at 15mm. I play it at a smaller scale, which actually is the same scale as the Company of Heroes stuff. Because Plastic Soldier Company used to do really good, really inexpensive sets at 15mm.
Yeah.
And at that scale, it's a lot easier to play. And actually, one of the cool things you can actually do at 15mm is, a lot of people say, well, like, oh, do you change the way you measure it? Do you change it from inches to centimetres? Actually, no. It's actually better to leave it at inches but keep the scale where it is. What you can do is you could actually change movement to centimetres, but you leave range and shooting at inches, because actually it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
That on Bolt Action, like a rifle has X amount of range, and yes, fine, that there is accuracy that they're taking into account with that range is not necessarily the range of the bullet, but it's the range, the theoretical range that somebody would likely actually hit the target, kind of thing. But actually, in a sort of real world sense, keeping it inches at a game at a smaller scale actually kind of logistically for the range of things makes sense. So yeah, I have played Bolt Action at 15mm, and I think it's a great game, really good system. I mean, in fact, it actually moves on to the other thing I said that I really, really want to do, I really want to get back to, and that's my designing, and I really want to push forward and get Frontier, which is my Wild West game, and while Frontier actually has a lot of inspiration from Bolt Action, so the drawing from a bag I took from Bolt Action, because I love the ebb and the flow that it added to that. I changed quite, that's really the only kind of similarity to it, but I really want to actually do something with it, and make it happen.
See what it is.
Even just put it out on War Games Vault and just
see what
people
PDF. Yeah.
See
if they like it.
Yeah.
My 2026. It's going to be more, I think, kind of probably clearing stuff off. Though there's some new stuff that's happening in the scene that I'd like to check out in the TCG thing. Flesh and Blood are releasing, or they're changing and updating the game. There's a silver version that they're bringing out, which will be interesting. So I'm going to see how that plays, how close it is to the Blitz decks. there's the ongoing kind of Ashes, Rise of the Phoenix Born, or Ashes Reborn as they've called it. They've just completed their crowdfunding. They've in the process of fulfillment, but they're doing more co-op stuff. They're doing kind of like an introduction stuff. They're doing like co-op stuff, games and stuff like that as well. So interested to checking that out. But I just kind of want to. I've still got Halo Flashpoint I'd like to play, which I haven't got to the table. There's
that's something I want to get played a lot more. Yeah, because I've got the ODST version of it now as well. I've got everything you could get for Halo, but I just don't get it played as much as I want to.
There's also Dwellings of Eldervale, which is is an over Christmas learner, because I'm going to have the time to kind of over Christmas learn it. Basically, the others as well. I'd like to get that to the table. Feudum. I got some of the upgrade stuff for Feudum, so I'd like to actually just get that to the table and kind of play it. I think that's going to be kind of like
I've just started working with the publisher of Feudum. He's become one of my accounts.
Mark,
Swanson's a lovely guy.
Mr. Swanson, yes, I've got a lot.
Really nice guy.
Mark was on the show earlier this year when he was talking about Fled, and he's a lovely guy.
He was somebody else's account they've left, and I said I'll take him on, and I don't think I'd crossed paths with Mark before, but he's been fun to interact with so far.
He's a good lad. So I'm looking at, that's what I'm kind of looking at. I'm looking to think of consolidating kind of what we've got and kind of going through things like the Undaunted season again, kind of revisit an Undaunted, just to kind of get that kind of North Africa, just kind of like Battle of Britain. I'd like to get that to the table again. Wildlands, I looked and opened my cupboard and Wildlands is sitting there, and I'd love to kind of get that back to the table. So I think it's more of a kind of consolidation. I'll see, because there'll be other games that'll kind of come out, but I think I'll be looking at more stuff that I can get my kind of hands on. I've been pleasantly surprised in terms of it's the whole FOMO thing, fear of missing out, but there's also the kind of stuff that I can get my hands on just now and play right now. That's been quite the attraction. As I say, things like Leaders proven to be just exquisite, and that was just like, there's not a hype train I'm waiting for, I'm just looking to grab it. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Looking to get a bit more painting. I've set a challenge with my boy, my youngest, to say we're going to actually paint some miniatures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undercoat, I think, the Halo guys, because they're probably some of the easier. They're bigger miniatures as well. So going to do the kind of the black undercoat with the kind of the light, the down spray on the white, just to kind of do the highlight.
Zenithal undercoating, yes.
Zenithal undercoating, and then kind of just, obviously because they're all fully printed, fully designed as like either red or blue, you just have to check their bottoms to see what colour they should be, and then just take it from there. So you're going to try that. So it's been good. I guess on the other side, I want to just a quick mention to the Giant Brain. They're still very much going, but they are finishing up their kind of podcast Brainwaves, which basically reported on the news kind of like every week or every couple of weeks what was happening on the scene. They are kind of going to be saying goodbye to them as a kind of a podcast over the next couple of weeks. Is a bit of a shame, because there's only one of the other Scottish podcasts that were kind of out there. Ancient Robot Games, who is they're a friendly local game store in Edinburgh. They've actually got their own kind of little podcast going, so we're kind of interested in maybe seeing if we can maybe have a chat with them. But that's about it. It's been a good year, Luke. You know what I mean?
It's been a bloody good year.
It's been a bloody good year. Special shout out to everybody that kind of supports us through the Patreon. Good old Paul, who's in the Discord.
I keep meaning to. I sort of, when I came into this tonight to record, I suddenly thought, bugger, I should be more in the Discord. Discord's a funny one for me. I easily lose focus on it, but
yeah. So we are.
I do like it.
We're potentially going to be kind of like, if you're a patron, you already have access to this, but potentially this year we might catch up with everybody else that were doing stuff in 2020 and kind of open it up. But you never see. But if you'd like to support us in any way, help keep the lights on, you can join the Patreon. We don't promise anything. You're just kind of like, showing us kindness to keep us going. But otherwise, if you have liked what you've listened to, tell people you know. If you're a game company and you're going, well, these guys haven't got any of my games on their top 10 list, it's like, well, give us a shout. We wouldn't necessarily want to play your games. I mean, you had all of 2025 to do that. Couldn't be bothered. To sort your life out. Don't make it happen again. That's how you do negotiation, Mr. Pryor. You're gonna burn your bridges.
The Trump art of negotiation.
They're beautiful board games. I do like playing them. They're the best. I play Monopoly. It's my favourite. I always win with my money. And that's me guaranteeing I'm not getting into America for the next 5 years either.
Oh, yeah, again. That's true, yeah.
That's true,
yeah,
Screwed. Have you done anything at all? No, I've just got like a couple of podcasts where, but it's time to go, I think. There's only a couple more things to do. Thanks everybody who listens. Remember, you can check us out on we'renotwizards.co.uk for everything, the reviews, the podcast episodes, but we've also gone back to Podbean, who like us very much, and you can find all of the podcasts on we'renotwizards.com, hosted by Podbean. Proud hosted by Podbean. Still not members of the Dice Town Network. What's that all about, Tom? Anyway, but
does the Dice Town Network still exist? I don't
know if it. I don't know. I
never really hear him mention the Dice Tower Network
No,
anymore.
I don't know if it's a network. It's more of like kind of couple of guys that hang about together in a shed. Anyway, there's only a couple more things to do. First thing is to remember that we're many things, but we're not wizards. And the second thing is to say goodbye. So it's goodbye from the rather wonderful, rather fantastic Mr. Luke Pryor. Say goodbye, Luke.
Toodle pip.
And it's a goodbye from me. Remember, stay safe, roll sixes, make something awful, and
stay spicy, kiddos.
And at this point, thanks for listening this year, giving us your support, your ears, and your swords.
We love it. We appreciate it.
We do. We appreciate every single person who listens along and comments and generally interacts. You're all a lovely bunch of fuckers. But until the next time, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
A wizard is never late. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.